Harry Maguire went off on Sunday, whenever it was. Are they available for tomorrow?
Well, we're hoping so. We're working towards it. They weren't feeling too good, so we've still got a bit of time to the game, and we'll just have to see how they feel. So we'll obviously give them every chance.
I mean, is it kind of illness? Neither of them were injured or anything like that?
No, it wasn't injury, no. They just, both of them weren't feeling too good. So yeah, it's one of them things really, but we'll just have to see how they are today and tomorrow morning.
Just in terms of the form of the team, which has obviously been outstanding, when you were here with Ollie, obviously the team did very well, and then there was a drop-off towards the end of the season. And when you were at Middlesbrough, you also did really well at the start, and then the results didn't match that at the end of the season. You didn't achieve what you wanted to. Is there any way of guarding against that?
Football's a tough game to get results anyway, so I think yeah, of course I learn, always learning and things that as you go through, and you could maybe have done a little bit different, done a little bit better, not specifically at them times, just in general really. So there's a lot of context, and depends on the players, the group of players, what the games all look like. There's so many different things coming into it. I think it's not so much guarding against it. I think it's just living in the moment and staying in the moment and keep grounded, and down to earth in terms of understanding what it takes to win games. And I've said that since I kind of came here, and not getting carried away. And we certainly won't get carried away. I think you got to feed off the confidence and understand that runs of wins are hard to come by, but we're hungry for more for sure, and we need to try and make it as long as it can last and stay consistent.
Sorry to take you back to a subject that's been hot this weekend, grappling inside the penalty area, Michael. Has it gone too far, and do you think anything can be done about it? What can be done?
I think it's gone too far, yeah. I think it wasn't long ago where we were kind of told that you couldn't really lay a hand on anybody in the box, and it was going to be stamped kind of out and clamped down on. And it's crept in, it's gone stronger. I think obviously the success of set pieces, corners in particular, probably in terms of being able to put so many bodies close together, has made more teams do it, because the success rate is so high, So it's understandable why there's so many teams trying it and doing it. But yeah, in terms of as a game, and it doesn't feel that we've kind of got that balance right. So I don't know what is to do about it. It's not for me to decide that really, but in the meantime, you got to deal with what's in front of you, and if it's allowed, then you got to play to it.
Just on the game itself at Newcastle, you're obviously in confident mood now. You, the players, everything. The fans talk about Champions League qualification. It's very much in your own hands now, isn't it? You've got 10 games to go, and you've got to play the likes of Villa, Chelsea, Liverpool. That's a big plus for you, isn't it?
Yeah, again, not looking too far ahead in terms of the games and where we're trying to get to. I think it's really important that we stay present and keep our minds on the job. It's an incredibly tough place to go to get a result. Newcastle, been there many times and know it well. So we're fully aware of that. So I'm not really looking. We haven't had conversations about it. We're not looking too far ahead. We understand this where we are. I think it was a good step for us at the weekend there, and there'll obviously be a good boost that comes from that, whether that's energy wise, whether that's confidence wise, and just total belief from it. But it doesn't mean that we can start ifs and buts further down the line. I think we're in a good position, and we've kind of earned it. Boys have earned it, and we've got to try and make the most of it from now on in.
Ian?
Michael, you now have the best form of any team in the league since you took over. Have you surprised yourself with what this team's achieved, given it's the same group of players that were here before?
I wouldn't use the word surprise. I think we always strive to win games, and as I've just said, understanding that it's difficult. But again, not looking too far ahead. I think if you stay, every game's winnable. I think both teams will come into it and think the same thing. If you can stay that and go step by step, try and be consistent with it, and then we feel we give ourselves a chance of doing that. I think it coming in at the start, it was quite quickly, one game at a time again, and I think that's the only way. You know, it's when you're in it and you live in it and you've got to perform, and the boys have got to be in a good frame of mind to be able to put performances together. I think the only way to do it and give yourself the best chances to stay in the moment, and it's for everybody else to get involved in the discussions maybe of what ifs and buts and bigger picture type of thing. It's not for us right now, and we're happy. You know, we're happy with the way things have gone. Still think we can do certain things better, which is a really good place to come from. But winning games is a good feeling, a good habit to have, and got to keep staying hungry with that.
Discussion before you came in about sort of deep-rooted issues at the club and so on. When you've come in and you've worked with this group of players, did you see the signs in there that this run of form was possible?
Again, I didn't get too far ahead in terms of what was possible at that stage. You know, it was we had to get to work quickly and put things into practice and try and be fair to the players, to give them the right information and the right balance to go into the next game was the first thing. But yeah, listen, I know some of the players. I know some of the players, or have done more than others. Now I've got to know everybody, and I think it's a really good group. I think they're talent-wise, ability-wise, I think the boys have showed that what they can do. And then there's that balance of good habits, good behaviours, and actually looking after each other. And there's certain times we've had to really dig in and show that good spirit and team spirit. So I can't speak highly enough of the players at the moment.
Johnson.
Michael, word on Bruno, yet again leading the way, spearheading, goal, assist. Where does he rank for you in Manchester United vocals of all the great midfielders you've had? And is it surprising for you? And secondly, how much would you have liked to perhaps play behind him in that little pocket?
Yeah, I'll be honest, there's not loads more I can add to what we've already talked about, Bruno. You know, he's been here for such a long period of time now, and had success in different ways, and certainly individually shown exactly what he's all about, you know, in terms of responsibility, showing up, being there, facing everything for the ups and the downs, and that, I think that sums up Bruno as a character, you know, and his consistency over such a period of time. So in terms of where he ranks in club history, that's not for me to get involved in, and it's irrelevant. But I think he's been a major plus and a fantastic signing for when he came in, and the impact that he's had since he's been here, and I'm sure that'll continue.
And a word on your counterpart in tomorrow's game, Eddie Howe, British manager who's had great success. How much respect have you got for the job he's done in recent years? Yeah,
huge amount of respect for Eddie and his staff. Know some of them particularly well, so and obviously been from there originally, and it's something that I've kept a close eye on. So he's done a great job. The levels of success and periods that he's brought to that football club, and the feeling that he's created around the whole area is incredible. So yeah, I just think he's a top manager, top coach, and he'll continue having success, I'm sure.
How do you evaluate your performance so far this season?
No, it's been good. It's still margin to improvement there. I don't think the goals and the assists make the player I am. Obviously, as a very important part of my game, because I'm a player that is there to score goals and obviously to serve my teammates, to give them opportunity to score goals. But is there a lot of things that I still can improve, and I want to improve, and help my teammates to score more goals, and score more goals for my team to be closer to win games is the most important thing.
And you have been in excellent form as a team and individually after Michael Carrick arrived at the club. What are his strengths, do you think, and what did he bring to the team, and what do you appreciate about his coaching style?
Obviously, I knew Michael already from the time I arrived at the club. He was already here. As a player, everyone knows that he was a very smart player in the way he played the game. So I think the main thing and the main attribute I would say he has is the communication he has with the players. He's very positive all the time with the players, very demanding, but also in a very positive way. What's very important for the players to feel confidence in the moment that he came. I think the confidence that he went to pass to the players was very important, and obviously the results. Then you get the results, the players get better and feel better to do the things he demands and he asks from us. I think communication-wise is the best strength of him. Obviously, at the same time, I think he prepares the game very, very well. He positions ourselves in a very good shape of when we have the ball to be very able to play and to create and to score goals, but also to when we lose the ball to have quick reactions and try to avoid that we end up in our box.
Are there any players that you looked up to in terms of getting inspiration for your own playing style?
No, all of them, and nowadays still players that play against me, I look up to them to see what I can improve in my game, what they do, what they're doing well to have success. You know, like you have a lot of players. We play in the Premier League, that is the best league in the world, where you have the best players and you can look at all of them and trying to improve your game and see what they do to become a better player. Obviously from the past, not exactly from my position. In the beginning of their career, probably yes. Like Pirlo was a big inspiration. Iniesta were the two midfielders I most liked to watch. Obviously, Pirlo started as a 10, then he started to become deeper. Iniesta was an 8. That was actually my position as I was growing up. And these were the players that I look up to in the way they play, the way they treat the ball, the way they serve their teammates. Then if we can talk about recent times, obviously Kevin De Bruyne in the Premier League was someone that I looked a lot to see what was he doing, how was he getting into the positions to score goals, and how he was getting his assists, all these things, because he was an exceptional player that could create a lot of things in a moment that would change the game, and that's very important for me to learn from it. And I think you have many other players in the Premier League now that I still can learn from them, and I do. Because I watch a lot of football, I watch a lot of games, and it doesn't matter where you play, whatever team, whatever league you play, if it's even Championship, League 1 or League 2, you still can improve and learn with that players, because they will do things that you might not be able to do it, but you have to improve and train that to become a better player and more complete.
And in the Premier League, obviously Newcastle coming up, tough fixture. It would be crucial as well to stay in those top spots. What are your thoughts going into this game?
Very tough to play away at Newcastle. You know their fans, you know their team. They're very aggressive. They create a great atmosphere. It's probably one of the best stadiums in terms of atmosphere to play with. But we are in a good moment. We are in a good run. We have our aims. We want to be at the top. We just got into the top 3. And it's going to be a massive game for us to get another win, and we just have to focus all our energies, because we not used this season to play 3 in 3 days, and we haven't done many times, so we have to recover well, get all the information on board, and then go there and understanding that the first 10-15 minutes of the game normally are chaotic, because they create that atmosphere and then create that intensity in the game, that we need to be prepared for that, and then play our game as we do in every episode.
Now, what a couple of months it's been for Michael Carrick and Manchester United. They were 7th when he took over, and now they're up to 3rd. Up next for United is a trip to Newcastle. Carrick will be speaking to the media later this afternoon. Our reporter Alan Irwin will be there for us. Alan, a very good afternoon to you. So what is on the agenda for the United boss this afternoon?
Well, one thing's for certain, it should be a very happy Michael Carrick that talks to the media a little bit later this afternoon, because that impressive run of results continued with that comeback victory over Crystal Palace at the weekend. And that means they have won 6 and drawn 1 since Carrick was appointed as interim head coach. I think more importantly, what it means for Manchester United is they are cementing their hopes for Champions League football next season. They now sit in 3rd place, of course, above Aston Villa on goal difference, and 6 points clear of Chelsea, who are now back in 6th place. Now, Carrick knows there are big games still to come, and they do have to play Villa, Chelsea and Liverpool. So effectively, Manchester United's Champions League hopes are very much in their own hands. But 10 games remain. We're starting that real run-in now, and it begins tomorrow for Manchester United at Newcastle up at St James's Park, where the home side will be wanting to make up for that 3-2 defeat and put right the wrongs of that defeat against Everton on home soil at the weekend. In fact, Newcastle have now lost their last 3 home Premier League games, something that will concern Eddie Howe. And what a contrast in fortunes for Newcastle and Manchester United since Michael Carrick took charge. When Carrick took over here at United, Newcastle was sitting above them in the table. But now 10 places separate the two clubs, because Newcastle, since Carrick took over, Newcastle have won 1, drawn 1 and lost 5 of their 7 league matches. Contrast that with Manchester United's form of 6 victories and that 1 draw. So it is a very confident Manchester United heading up to St James's Park at the weekend. Not more so, I suppose, than Benjamin Sesko, who again delivered his starting place at the weekend, scoring another brilliant winning goal. So he'll be expecting to start. What else in terms of a starting 11? We'll be asking Michael Carrick about that, because there were question marks over Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw, who both left the field in that game against Crystal Palace at the weekend. But one thing is for sure, United are showing real character and belief and that confidence that was certainly severely lacking when Ruben Amorim was in charge. So we'll be chatting to Michael Carrick, all things what remain in the season, and predominantly Newcastle tomorrow night here in about an hour and a half's time.
Great stuff, Alan. Thank you very much. Well, as for Newcastle, some illness worries for Eddie Howe, as well as concerns over their form. Nick Voltemada, the latest player to go down with a sickness bug, although Jacob Ramsey has recovered from his. Voltemada's a doubt for their match with Manchester United. And perhaps of even more concern is Newcastle's home form. They've lost their last 3 Premier League matches at St James's Park.
Yeah, Jacob was in yesterday, trained fine, so a quick recovery from him. There's obviously something, an illness potentially there in the squad, because Nick Voltemada's gone downhill and we haven't seen him for a couple of days. So you'd expect Voltemada not to be available tomorrow night then? Let's see, we'll give him every chance. On Jacob Ramsey, obviously, it was a blow to lose him at the weekend. He'd scored the goal and he'd been playing well in that match, and in recent games he's been particularly good, hasn't he, which must be really pleasing for you. Yeah, he's getting better and better for me. When we first signed him, I think it was really clear from the training that we were doing how good technically Jacob is. I mean, he's very rarely wastes a ball. He's really good in tight areas, and he has good athleticism as well to add to the other side. So I think he's got a little bit of everything, and it's been great to see him score a couple of really important goals for us, because I think naturally playing in midfield, I think you need to contribute in that area as well. So I think that would have done his confidence levels, those 2 goals, the world of good. I think he now feels fully here and at home and comfortable with what he's being asked to do. So I think really positive signs for him that he can only get better from this point as well. Can I just check quickly on Tino Livramento? Is this going to be too soon for him, this match? Yeah, I think possibly. I think he's getting closer and closer. I know asked a lot about him, and I understand why, because I do the same to the medical team. It's like a chain that goes down. We're desperate for him to be back available, but it has to be at the right time. And every injury situation is not always as simple as you give a return date and the player comes back. There's always little things that can happen either way. I think he's slightly ahead of the schedule initially given, but yeah, he's in the last little bits of his rehab now.
Thanks, Fraser. Keith?
Eddie, I know we kind of touched on it after the match against Everton, but are you able at all to put your finger on why it feels like the more winnable game you've got on paper, you look like you're struggling of late, and then the tougher game, it feels like maybe the players are rising to the occasion a bit more? Is that something you've sensed?
Yeah, possibly, Keith. It is a difficult one, as you say. The psychology of sport, psychology of human beings, really. I think we have struggled in that respect in recent games. We have had the ability to raise our game. We don't want that to be the outcome, of course. We want to be consistent. We want to be our best in every game. So it's a frustration for all of us. We're trying to find solutions to every problem that we have, and there'll always be problems, even if you're winning every game, and you've got to try and continue to find solutions. So that's what we're trying to do. But yeah, that is a bit of a head scratcher for us.
What do you say to the players after that on Saturday? I know you won't have been happy, but then when you look at the next 6 days, Manchester United at home, Man City at home, Barcelona at home, I mean, there's not really too much time to breathe. You kind of just need to get on with it, don't you? Yeah,
we do, but I think we have to get the focus in the right areas. The focus has to be on what we can do better, and we've tried to always, amongst a moment of really high emotion, try and bring it back to what can help the players, what can help our next performance. Players did a really good job yesterday, and I think my staff did a really good job yesterday of trying to bring it back to that. So we did some good work on the training pitch. One of the rare opportunities we've had to do that. Today will be the same. And it's highlighting themes and mentality to our performance that we think will help us in our next run of games, and that's what we're trying to do.
Welcome back. Newcastle United struggling right now in the Premier League. 4 straight defeats at St James's Park. Well, it could be 4 straight defeats at St James's Park as they host in-form Manchester United tomorrow night. Eddie Howe says they're desperate to turn things around for their fans.
When you get a blip like we've had currently, it feels abnormal, it feels unusual, it feels not good. You know, it's hurting us. So we pride ourselves on trying to give our supporters what they want, and we haven't been able to do that in recent games. And I think all energy now is towards that, and that's of course Manchester United, which will be a great game for us.
Yeah, Michael Bridge is going to provide some analysis on maybe a couple of things that are going wrong for Newcastle. But Charlie, you've played under Eddie Howe, you know him. How does he react when his side are struggling?
I think he will stick to what he knows best and what he knows he can do, that his team can do for him. I think the biggest thing for what Eddie is and his strengths is trust in his process and trust in his beliefs. And when he goes away, that something's up. But ultimately, he knows what's best for Newcastle United. At the moment, they're not on the best run of form, of course not, but this is not the first time it's happened under Eddie. And it also comes down to expectation. What's the expectation for Newcastle? What does Eddie want to achieve with this team? Of course, we talk about what the Premier League's like at the moment, and they're just falling short.
Whereas, must be said, they're still in the Champions League, got to the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup, and they're still in the FA Cup as well. Michael, the 2 Nicks in particular have come under the spotlight for some bad performances recently. Who's that?
Well, start with Nick Pope. Quite a high-profile error on Saturday during Newcastle's home defeat to Everton. It felt quite a damaging one, didn't it, Tommy? When you feel like it's coming back for Newcastle, especially the success in the Champions League, but the league form is worrying because Newcastle, they're in danger of not being in Europe next season, and of course that's not good progression for Newcastle United, looking to progress every year. We know the PSR constraints that make it difficult for them. Eddie Howe's made it clear. But going back to Nick Pope, 3 errors leading to a goal. That's the joy at most in the Premier League this season. And he's also got Aaron Ramsdale probably breathing down his neck. Aaron Ramsdale has not come to Newcastle United to sit on the bench. He was sitting on the bench at Arsenal. He wants to be a number 1 there. And of course, we go from the goalkeeper to the forward line. Nick Voltemada, bought for big money in the summer. 11 games without a goal in the Premier League. And, he started so well. 4 in 5. Now, Howe said he's a doubt for tomorrow because he's unwell. Now, it's been tough for him over the last few weeks. Anthony Gordon is now back on penalties. Voltemada was the penalty taker when Gordon was suspended. But this is a strange one because he could be leading the line for Germany in the summer. As I say, it's not about someone who's not really adapted to the Premier League because he started ever so well. So I'm really intrigued to see what Newcastle fans think about this, because is this not a great fit? Is this someone who's just on a bad run of form? And it really is intriguing, this one, because, as I say, he started well.
Well, let's see what the Newcastle fans think, actually, because Clinton Ford joins us